welcome to the Driver's Line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan.
And today, we've got a conversation for you.
Today's conversation is going to update us about the latest coming out of F1 and market segments for Q2.
That's right. I'm going to update Jordan about Formula One.
Yeah, and I'm going to give Greg some news about some BMW models and sales.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, we love talking about BMW.
We do.
All right, well, let's dive into F1, though. Sure. It has been a very cool season. Competition has been heating up. So last year, Max Verstappen basically dominated the whole season, right?
Yep.
Started off basically the same this year. However, the other teams have started catching up, which has been really, really cool to see.
Nice.
So last year was basically all Verstappen and I think one Ferrari. This season, we've had 4 different teams win a race and 5 different drivers.
Wow.
Which is actually like massively different. And for Formula One, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, so for a lot of the folks complaining about the lack of competition in Formula One, we're not seeing it this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a plus when you can get multiple names up on that podium, because that's definitely way more interesting than last year's snooze fest, right?
Exactly. We saw Mercedes finally get on the top step last week in Austria with George Russell kind of benefiting the little clash between Verstappen and Lando Norris. Yeah,
a little drama between those friends, it seems.
I know they're actually really good friends, and so it was kind of interesting to see. I mean, Max has always been the type of driver who is, we're either going to crash or you're going to stay behind me.
Yeah.
You're going to have to earn it 10 tenths to get past me.
Right.
And so he just shut the door on Lando. Lando didn't budge, so they came together.
Yep. And looks like there was some flat tires involved and some penalties as well.
Yeah, so Max ended up getting a 10-second penalty, which really was immaterial to him in the race. So he basically dropped to 5th after having to replace some tires and completed out his race. And Lando just had too much damage, so he ended up having to retire the car, which was unfortunate for him. But as we're recording this, they're going to Silverstone this weekend. So Silverstone qualifying is going on literally right as we speak right now for Silverstone this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that race. As you guys will know the actual outcome, well, you view this on
That's true, by the time this comes out.
That's right.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
And so kind of on the heels of Silverstone, the next thing we're looking at is a lot of driver moves. So we've already had some good re-signings. We've already had talked about in-depth Hamilton moving to Ferrari, so that was a really seismic event. And so there's another seismic event that's going to be kind of on the heels of that, driven by Carlos Sainz, who Hamilton is stealing his seat, essentially. Right. So Carlos is a really skilled driver. He's a Grand Prix winner. So really, a lot of teams are going to be looking for someone with a lot of skill, a lot of experience. He is going to be the guy. The problem is he has not decided yet.
Oh,
apparently, he's been offered a seat at Williams. He's been offered a seat at Sauber, which is going to become Audi. He's been rumored at Mercedes as well, but I think Mercedes is probably the seat that he wants. So I think Mercedes is kind of going back and forth. Do we want to bring up the rookie Kimi Antonelli?
Right.
Or do we want to bring in someone experienced until the new regulations come in 2026? Gotcha. Which might also give Carlos time to see if the Audi team actually has the speed for him to kind of move over there, because that's really the logical place for him.
That's a great point. That's a really great point.
Yep. So lots of things still moving. We've seen a lot of folks get re-signed recently, like Nico Hülkenberg is to Sauber. Lance Stroll, of course, got re-signed at Aston Martin, which was a huge surprise since his daddy was the team. Tsunoda staying at Red Bull Visa Cash App, whatever they call that team.
That's a long name.
And Albon got re-signed at Williams, as well as Perez got re-signed at Red Bull, even though his performances ever since he got re-signed. So possibility that Daniel Ricciardo may move into that spot, but I see that as a real long shot, because Perez knows how to play the second driver role, which is really what Red Bull needs. They don't want someone pushing Max Verstappen and trying to compete for first.
For sure. That would definitely unsettle him.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not known for his tolerant behavior.
No, I mean, when Ricciardo was his teammate, if we look back to Baku, I think it was 2018, I mean, those two literally crashed each other out of the race.
Yes, that's true.
So, I mean, yeah, you really just can't have two alpha males in the same spot. You got to have someone who's going to be the beta.
Yep. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Exciting second half of the season coming up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so moving from cars on the track to cars that we deal with every day, let's talk about first specifically BMW.
We love BMW.
There has been
what ugly beast of burden have they given us now?
There has been a ton of news coming out of BMW in the last few weeks. I'm not sure what has happened, but maybe they have been listening to not just us, but several automotive outlets across the board talking about kind of the future of BMW and where they're headed, right? Specifically, they just released information about one of their most coveted models, the M5, right? Legendary nameplate. The M5 is well known, right, for having its ability to both manage the executive saloon market, but also have that intense, massive performance behind it. It's a model that has lots of emulators, but it always seems to be, it rises towards the top.
Yeah, it definitely created its own market, right? Like it created that super saloon market. You know, I don't know really who came first. Was it them or was it Mercedes? But either way, I mean, they are the genesis of that super saloon market.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the release of the latest generation, the F90, we have seen a lot more focus on electric drivetrain performance. Notably, the latest 5 Series, right, can be purchased in both pure electric and hybrid, and we have obviously traditional propulsion. But the newest M5 has taken a very different approach to its past.
So is it faster than the old M5?
Nope.
Is it lighter than the old M5?
No, not at all. It's slower. It's fatter.
Is it better looking than the old M5?
No. Well, I don't think so. So in traditional BMW fashion, it seems as of late, we are taking every single thing that makes us successful and flushing it down the toilet. Yes. Yeah, it's gained over 1,000 pounds from its
1,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
1,050 pounds
what a
over
pig.
its predecessor. Yeah, and this is a direction that, I mean, I don't understand. So, you know, I'm okay with some weight gain if we're talking about added lots more capability, but basically what we're doing here is we're just adding an electric drivetrain component, making it a plug-in hybrid to bump up the power rating. But because of all that extra batteries and electronics, we're talking about 1,000 pound weight gain. That is massive.
Does it at least like have lower emissions?
Well, we know how Germans are with their emissions. But no, that really...
All right, Volkswagen boy. This isn't Volkswagen. We're talking about BMW here.
That's fair. That's fair.
They've never been caught cheating.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, when you're buying an M5, is emissions what you're concerned about?
Of course not. But I mean, like, are they just trying to like raise their overall standard? Maybe?
I guess, and it's a perplexing direction for me because, like, ultimately the M5, while popular, is not going to be the seller of your market, right?
No.
So, like, I don't understand why we can't just make the M5 the performance-focused model. Let's do that. And hey, let's have some plug-in. Let's do some M-inspired models with that plug-in system, and you guys can explore that. That's fine. But when you're adding 1,000 pounds to a chassis, we know that they're very, very talented engineers, but you can't overcome that. I mean, that's physics.
Exactly. Like, I mean, we drove the, I'm probably going to get this wrong, i4 M50i.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
At that BMW event.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was fun to drive. Sure. Again, it was, you know, the typical EV one-trick pony, but it was still very performance-oriented. It drove like a BMW, felt like a BMW. Unfortunately, it looked like a BMW. But, I mean, it had the performance. It had the chops, right? Like, it really didn't need more. Like, I think it was like 570, 580 horsepower.
Yeah. So I think that the Germans are just so focused on bringing everything on with electric now. That just has become an obsession with them. And they've just invested so much money in this architecture. They're not going to let that go. And why not attach a nameplate that you know is very popular to something so you know it's going to sell? But I don't know. I feel like this has left an opening now for other manufacturers. Hopefully Cadillac, please don't get rid of the CT5 Blackwing. Let's keep that around. You know?
I mean, would you rather have a ripping, snorting V8 supercharged 6-speed manual CT5e Blackwing, or you're kind of fell out of every tree of the ugly branch and hit every branch on the way down M5 with 1,000 pounds heavier and slower?
Yeah, it's not just been hit with ugly stick; it's been hit with the weight stick too.
Yes,
in fact, on that, I have some little trivia here.
Trivia.
Here's not so much trivia, just some models here, very commonly known as being heavy things. These are all things that are heavier than a 5 Series M5 BMW.
Oh God.
Okay. How about a F-150 King Ranch?
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
That's the quad cab.
Heavier. That's right. It is heavier. We talk about electric. Yeah. Electrics are heavy. How about a Tesla Model X? Heavier.
That is a 7-seat SUV, people. 7 seats.
Greg loves his Miatas. Obviously, a Miata is lighter than...
Oh, yeah, but how many Miatas?
You could buy 2 Miatas and still be less in terms of weight.
Oh, my gosh.
Than an M5. But we don't have to stick with just the automotive landscape.
Aircraft carrier?
How about an airplane? Let's calm down. Okay? We have a Diamond DA42 plane. That is lighter. We'll put that on the screen here for you. We're talking about an airplane, like a Cessna type vehicle here. That's heavy. Okay? Finally, a rhinoceros. Just because, why not? A rhinoceros weighs less than your BMW M5 in the latest generation, the F90. So,
but the F90 is faster than a rhinoceros.
I mean, probably. But is it more entertaining? I don't know about that.
Well, I mean,
TBD.
Are we talking about like riding the rhinoceros? Because that'd be pretty entertaining.
I know.
We were just looking at it.
TBD. So we will see what these reviews come out with in terms of, but I know that just generally speaking, as you add weight, things tend to get more complicated in the twisties. So
a little bit, yeah. Weight is the enemy of performance.
Yeah. So sticking to BMW, we recently talked about the X2 as being a very poor seller. Yes. Now, it was recently redone. It still has that... They've actually redone the shape, right, to give it that fastback profile. Seems to be doing pretty well in terms of reviews, but...
It's sort of the XM-like nose, too,
right? Yeah, yes, it does have that XM schnoz.
The XM is doing so well, they're killing it, right?
Oh, yeah, the XM's...
They're like killing it in, like 2 years, I think, right? Yeah.
They are not bringing it back. They're just like dying for it to die, basically. They're just, I don't know. But we've recently heard that there's rumors that the X4 is actually going to be put up to pasture. They're not going to renew it because they feel like the X2 kind of embodies the spirit of the X4 enough to do it.
X2 is front-wheel drive architecture, right?
Yeah.
X4 is...
That's rear-wheel drive. Yeah.
Rear-wheel drive, which is more in the ethos of...
Yeah, BMW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, decisions were made. All right, great.
Apparently, they think they're really close to size. I mean, they're like 8 inches different in length alone, so I'm not really sure what the thinking is here. But
hey, guys don't know length. There's obviously a man who made this decision. Yes, he thinks he's got an 8-inch something, and he thinks it's the same.
I don't know.
All right.
But nonetheless, buy your X4 while you can, because it's not coming back. So, finally, what I think is going to be exciting in the EV realm of BMW, not really exciting, but we are getting away slowly from the current styling direction, it seems. Yes. We have that new class design language.
I saw someone who did a render with that new class style as a M3, and it looks so good.
Yeah, and
I'm ready for it to happen. BMW, turn that page. Let's go.
All right. So before we do the 3 Series, though, we're gonna take that new class and we're gonna apply it to one of Greg's favorite BMW models. Do you remember the i8?
I do. Is it coming back?
Sort of. Yeah, so recently there's been some spy shots of an i8. I kind of feel like it has like M1 vibes to it as well, if you remember that kind of tapered rear that the M1 had. So obviously this has that because it is an EV and that's an aerodynamic kind of shape. But it's looking like BMW's...
Is it that convertible thing?
It looks like it could have some convertible elements to it. Yeah, so it almost looks like an EV re-embodiment of the i8.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it actually looks fantastic.
Yeah. So, hey, there's models out there testing right now, so who knows what we could see from them. It also looks like the X5 has been testing, the new next generation, with some new class looks. I'm less...
I'm curious how that new class is going to work on an SUV. It's very... low slung and swoopy, which doesn't really jive with big, tall, and boxy. But, you know, I mean, BMW did it one time with the original X5, and maybe they can do it again. Yeah,
I mean, the X5 still to this day, I think, is one of the best looking German SUVs produced. And it still holds that strong design lineage, even through all the chaos that has ensued. I know, with that,
whoever is like the X5 like program owner, like they have really put their fist down, like, you are not going to ugly up my X5.
Well, we'll see, because the next one definitely has some different styling elements behind it. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, interesting 2024 so far.
Yeah, for sure. So we hope you enjoyed our racing and news wrap up.
That's right. Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.